Awakening is freedom, of that there is no doubt. But it is also a force of disruption and confrontation, both within you and outside of you. Once you have been stirred by the impulse of truth, you can no longer stay asleep, and in your waking, you're bound to make some people uncomfortable. Anyone seeking a true relationship with God needs to prepare for this day, and that's the purpose of this video. Within it, I will give you 5 signs to confirm that this is where you are at this moment, as well as leave you with some words of encouragement and truths to bear in mind as you continue to evolve from here. Spiritual awakening isn't always a blissful sunrise that meets all comers with a smiling face. Sometimes it's a wildfire that burns your comfort to ashes, and it spews the dust on things and people in ways you never expected. As you awaken, you will outgrow not just habits, you will outgrow identities. You will not just outgrow limitations, you will outgrow entire relationships, people, and environments. And the first to resist your transformation will often be the parts of you and the people who felt safe with your smaller self. But how do you even know the first stage of spiritual evolution is beckoning or already at your door? I say this because while a few of us will be awakened abruptly by traumatic events, the majority, if they are observant, are usually called into this phase of life in more gradual and subtle ways. It is only when they are deep within it and after some time do a stocktake that they realize the process has been ongoing for a while before they could put a name or finger to it. Kindly comment "sudden" or "gradual" below to share how this realization came upon you. In the meantime, let's begin the countdown, and pay attention to number 4 because for most it's the first sign they notice. Sign number 1, you begin to crave silence over stimulation. You used to fill every empty moment with noise, with people, with scrolling. Now you pause mid-conversation and realize you're no longer interested in small talk, not because you're better than anyone, but because your soul is starving for something real. Suddenly silence feels like home and constant chatter feels like exile. Your old self will panic and scream in your inner ears. You're becoming antisocial. Your friends may even joke, "You've changed. You're always so quiet now." But you smile because this isn't just some random withdrawal but an irrevocable inward return. You're not running from the world but just learning to hear your own soul. The silence you seek isn't just the absence of sound that would be found in the quiet of a cemetery. The silence you have now tasted and actively seek is the presence of the Holy Spirit. A presence full of words that have no sound but whose messages are heard clearly by the one they are meant for. Nothing less can satisfy, and you have no apologies. The second sign that you are awakening is that you now feel deeply. You sense things more these days and can no longer pretend you don't. You used to laugh things off to cloud out the stirring that was rising within. You used to numb the discomfort with all sorts and forms of entertainments and imbibements. You could keep it light even when your soul was screaming, but now, you feel every single impulse. You feel undeniable pain, both your own pain and the unspoken pain in the room, as if you are now a walking sponge. You also feel the sadness underneath someone's smile because you've become porous, empathetic, and wide awake. Every emotional flutter is sensed in your bones. And that's because this is the undoing of your old mask, an event that can be terrifying and overwhelming to the unprepared. Because you now feel deeply about everything, your friends might say, "Why are you so intense?" Or, "Why are you overreacting?" But you're not becoming dramatic, you're becoming honest. And honesty is disruptive, especially to those still addicted to suppression. The third sign you notice is that you start saying no without striving to explain yourself or justify it. Once upon a time, your boundaries were made of sand, mist, and malleability. Not so long ago, you said yes to what drained you, just to keep the peace, and religiously avoided conflict like the plague. But now awakening has stripped you of your people-pleasing skin, and with that stripping, you no longer sacrifice your truth for someone's comfort. You know this will initially frighten your old self, as it was trained to survive by being agreeable, but that consideration is secondary in your mind at this moment. You also know it may trigger friends who benefited from your compliance, friends who now may say, "You're being selfish," because your boundaries have cut the supply of free resources and energy. You are now acutely aware that the old you tolerated too much, and the new you remembers that boundaries are sacred. You know deep down that every no that honors your truth is a yes to the divine within you. In that realization, you now give based on your time, terms, and convenience. That is the emerging sense of energy economy your new state is demanding of you. It encompasses physical, material, emotional, and eventually spiritual resource management. And there is no reason to justify your truth to anyone but yourself. Sign number 4, you will surely find yourself questioning everything you were taught to obey. Awakening isn't just a spiritual feeling, it's also a mental earthquake. An earthquake that makes you stop parroting what you were taught without prior examination. One that makes you stop regurgitating verbatims, isms, and dogmas that have never made sense to the inner you. You start questioning the rules, the norms, and all the inherited beliefs and find yourself asking, with increasing intensity and, honestly, a bit of vehemence, why do I believe this? Who gave me this worldview? Is this truth or just the old imposed and unquestionable tradition? Initially, your old self feels lost without any physical authority to obey, for the old pedestals are broken and they have come crashing down, lying spent and lifeless at the foot of the vibrant truth that now lives in you. Your friends may feel threatened, especially if their identity is built on these unexamined systems that you now challenge. They might say, "You're becoming rebellious." But you can't tuck yourself or your emerging truth back in, not even to comfort or sustain old structures and quote and unquote friendships. Awakening is not rebellion for rebellion's sake. It is the remembrance that this spiritual freedom cannot be domesticated and cannot be tamed or caged. So any spirit that wishes to command you must first present itself to be tested. Either they submit themselves to that test, or they are discarded, without mercy. The fifth sign of your awakening self is that you become more and more intolerant of the fake and inauthentic in everything. You were used to fake laughter and tolerated toxic conversations and banter because that was what civility and present company required. Back then you stayed quiet when truth wanted to speak, but you suddenly can't do that anymore. Now you walk into any room and immediately feel what no one is saying. You watch people hide behind their curated personalities and something inside you aches because you no longer entertain double-speak. You don't want manicured perfection, you want realness, a realness that is raw, vulnerable, honest, and ready to grow. And if it's not present, unlike before now, when you would have stayed on, you'd rather walk away than force your soul to endure such places and company. Your old self will grieve the loss of fitting in, but you are past caring, as you're no longer willing to abandon or deny the truth within yourself just to be accepted, and neither would your evolving soul for that matter. Please take note that this sign is different from the first in that, while in the former the talk was true, but not of the depth that could generate the spark in your soul that you needed to continue engaging. In this fifth sign, because of the doublespeak, both the talk and the company are untrue at their core, and hence the dialogue is totally inauthentic. As you embrace this emerging version of you, the awakening self, realize that people will talk. Let them talk. It changes nothing because truth makes those still spiritually asleep uncomfortable. But also realize that though you may sometimes feel alone, you are not lonely. and I assure you that physical loneliness won't last. Kindred spirits attract and find each other, and because soul tribes gather where authenticity reigns, your kind will surely find you in inexplicable ways. Your mission is not to be agreeable. Your mission is to be authentic, to embody truth so deeply that even if you stand alone, you stand free. You were born to be aligned with your Creator consciously and fully. You were born to perfect your return to Eden, to full splendor, full glory, and full dominion. Let your soul's whispering guide you at these times. May its light be your ever-invigorating companion as you continue your voyage back into the heart of God. Like and subscribe if you found value in this presentation, and keep on being the earthly ripple of divine love as you remain blessed and renewed on all levels.